So right off the bat, I actually have new merch on from Swoop, and if you have not been to Swoop's channel, you should totally go check her out. She does really amazing documentaries as well as short films, and her editing and her visual style is just absolutely gorgeous. But I also love watching the way that her mind works. So she's just a gem across the board. Go check out Swoop. But the shirt, actually, it's an unfinished shirt because I got the Petty University. I got her Petty University brand, and I got 3 hoodies. And this one, I think it's actually missing a second layer of screening because it's supposed to have black inside the letters so you can actually see all the stuff. And I think it's, what's that? I'm thinking the sticker, because the rest of my hoodies actually did not come with this, so I'm thinking the sticker must have been in the manufacturing process the way that they were probably determining that this needed a second screen, and I think they just shipped it out without doing so. So I'm just gonna take that away. It's cute anyway. I'll show you the rest of my Swoop merchandise in later videos, but for now, Swoop has absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing today. I'm just repping Petty University, and I could not be more excited. I will tell you what we are doing in just a moment, but before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 190 of 365 days of soap, and today we're doing something kind of fun, and that fun thing is called I am taking you along for the ride as to how I figure out my scents for themes. And so a lot of people have actually asked questions about that, like what is the process, how do you start your themes, how do you build on them, all of the jazz. And so today we are going to be playing around on Wellington's website because we're doing another blind test. I have used Wellington before, but not really enough to count, and so the common consensus with the Sudsers was I can totally use them for a blind test again. So that's what we are doing. We will be at Wellington's site selecting some fragrances that I have never worked with around a theme that we will be, well, releasing in January. But this is happening right now. And for the record, I'm filming this on day 186. I haven't released today's video, but it's a good one, and I hope you liked it. And if you didn't like it, sorry. If you haven't watched it, go back. This is day 190. Go back a couple days and go watch that one. But anyway, the theme that we will be doing starting in January, our first ever theme of the new year, is Grey's Anatomy. Because the new Soapprentice and I do actually share the love for Grey's Anatomy, and I found it weird that we, as Soap and Clay, have never done Grey's Anatomy as a theme, because one of their names, because they have multiple names, how that works, you got a first and a middle, and anyway, one of the kids is named after a character in Grey's Anatomy, among some other things. So I found it weird and thought it would be fun to see if the new Soapprentice could design some soaps that I would then make, because she's not there yet. She's not ready to start making soaps, but she can do some cool designs and I can make them. But first we have to figure out the scents. And so we have 16. I whittled down this very large cast of Grey's Anatomy to 16 characters. So we will be selecting 16 scents from Wellington. So we should probably, you know, get to that. Okay, now the biggest reason why I wanted to go with Wellington for this, well, again, I wanted to do a bigger blind test with them and kick off the new year with a blind, you know, fragrance test, because we haven't done that in a while. But two, because all of the characters that, you know, are within Grey's Anatomy, they're all very complex, and a lot of them are broody and whatnot. And immediately when I started to think of what each of these characters would smell like, the stock standard sort of botanical spa-esque scents with your bergamots and your rosemaries and your nag chimp, all of those, they didn't fit. They were never going to fit. And also foodie scents were really never going to fit either, because food is not a huge focus within all of Grey's Anatomy. So I started to think about this, and I decided perfume, cologne. What would the characters of Grey's Anatomy smell like? What colognes would they like to wear? And so that's what we're doing today. Again, with 16 characters, so it's going to be a good time. And Wellington has a really good designer fragrances collection. To that, from what I could see, so does Save On Scents, but I have not had time to even touch that. And I'm sorry, but it's still mid-December at this point. I am still massively busy, and I will not have time until January to actually sit down and do all of this. And I have to get these soaps made, because again, we're starting January with this theme. So we're doing Wellington for the designer scents. And so for that reason, we are going to go to their designer fragrances tab on their website and see what we're working with. Now, again, I have 16 people that I have to pick, and they have 80 total designer fragrance oils. So this is good. This is actually narrowing my options by quite a bit. And I am going to start out with Meredith, and I don't want to, because I don't like Meredith. Okay? That might be a very controversial opinion, but Meredith Grey of Grey's Anatomy, I have never liked. I have not liked her as a character. She annoys the shit out of me. I always thought when Lexi made her appearance that they totally could have killed off Meredith and kept Lexi, thus the name Grey's Anatomy still continues. Anyway, Meredith. I didn't exactly know what to do with her for the scent for all of this, and so let's kind of look through this and see if we can just have some obvious, right off the bat, this sort of makes sense for her. Because I look at Meredith, and I look at a kind of person who actually would not spend any amount of time putting on perfume. She probably has perfume, though, for the nights when she wants to, you know, do her dance parties or go out and get drunk and dark and twisty, right? So there has to be something that could work within all of this. I would definitely not. Creed is an option. Okay, that's interesting. Ooh, the Baccarat Rouge 540 type. Let's look up Baccarat Rouge. So it is a unisex, which I like. And let's see what it smells like. Luminous and sophisticated, Baccarat Rouge 540 lays on the skin like an amber floral and woody breeze. A poetic alchemy. Jasmine, saffron, ambergris, freshly cut cedar wood. Okay, that's pretty complicated. And Meredith is definitely complicated. So let's click on this. And let's see what the soaping notes are for it. See if we can even use it. Although, to that, for the record, the Meredith will not be a soap. It will be a bath bomb. Because I don't want to design a soap for Meredith Grey. Also, the vanillin content is 0%, so it is okay to go any color we want. So, okay, let's go ahead and do that. Meredith has been taken care of. Baccarat Rouge, it's a nice unisex. Meredith does not super conform to any sort of gender stereotypes. And so I can get behind that. It's very, very complicated with all these different notes. And I think that would fit her dark and twisty really well. Meredith, Baccarat Rouge. Love that. Cool. We're already getting tax subtotals. Love it. So next up is going to be Derek. Derek actually does strike me as the type of person that would collect like fancy perfumes. Like I collect fancy perfumes. Like Mr. Soap and Clay collects fancy perfumes. And so we're going to be looking at a fancier type perfume. Ideally, though, I would really like his scent to be very oceanic, right? With like the sea salts and the sea sprays and, sea things. Because he's got a thing about boats, ferry boats, So something that is very clean and fancy for Derek, I think. Definitely more of a clean, oceanic scent, I think, for him, for sure. Blue de Chanel could work. Blue de Chanel. Let's look that up. From what I remember about that, because I think Mr. Soap and Clay has that. It's not something that I would super ever consider a fancy scent, though. And there's no oceanic type scents in it, so we don't want that. So let's look up Code Men smells like. Let's see. Now, Code would be an Armani. Again, that's not super expensive, and it's a spicy scent. I don't want to get with a spicy scent for Derek. I really don't want to go spicy for Derek. I think it needs to be more clean and crisp. So we are not doing cool water. We've already done cool water before. Oh, I know exactly what I'm about to do for Karev. When we get to him, that's the easiest one yet. Love that. But we're still on Derek. Okay. Dolce & Gabbana light blue. It smells exactly like you've just come out of the sea on a hot day. Granted, he lives in Seattle, or lived in Seattle, and so you have very few hot days. But on the days that you can do, I think that would actually work. So let's check on the soaping notes for this guy and see what we have going on here. No vanillin. Okay. Cool. Why not? Let's do the thing. Let's add that guy to cart. So Derek will be Dolce & Gabbana's light blue for men. Smells like you just came out of the water on a hot summer day. Love it. Perfect. Next up is Dr. Bailey. And you know what? Actually, for Bailey, and I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in Bailey. Bailey's a really complicated one for me to even figure out because I love Dr. Bailey so much. And actually, when I was living in LA, we lived in Burbank for a number of years. And it was just like the thing. You would always see famous people around, like doing grocery shopping or whatever. And you never approached them because, dude, they're just living their lives. It was like the unspoken rule in Burbank. You just never did. So I saw Dr. Bailey like a week after I'd given birth to Soap and Clay Kidlet #1. And so I had this little teeny tiny thing, in a little pouch on my, and I thought that gave me license to, go and say hi to her as she was packing her stuff into the back of her vehicle, her Thanksgiving Day supplies, actually. And I had to. And I went and told her how awesome she was because she freaking was. So we're going to put a pin in Bailey right now. She's a bit complicated for me. I want to see the way that the rest of this line shakes out. And then we'll decide Bailey. So next up would be Dr. Weber. And I think Dr. Weber has to smell like old man, like shave cream, shave soap, those sorts of things, right? And so we're thinking about like the Yardley soap or the Barasco or whatever in the hell it's called, shave cream, Old Spice, kind of those kind of notes. Guy's always well put together. He's always very neat and tidy with his little, whether he has a beard or a mustache or but his hair is always well kept. He's always very clean and shiny. And so he does some grooming, some daily shaving for sure. So we're going to go with like a shave type scent with this. I think that's what's going to make sense for Dr. Weber. What do we have on page 3? I don't remember page 1 having anything that would actually fit that bill. So let's see. We started Dolce & Gabbana. Okay, keep going down. It's definitely not Jacquard. It's definitely not Ed Hardy. No, not going to be Euphoria or Flower Bomb or Joe Malone. What else do we have? We might have to get creative with Dr. Weber. Now, Grave Vetiver by Tom Ford is such a sexy scent, but Dr. Weber does not strike me as the type to spend that kind of money, Tom Ford kind of money, on a cologne. So Hugo Boss is an option, actually. Hugo Boss Night Men. because Hugo Boss is not an expensive brand, and it's been around for a really long time. I'm not sure how long Night has been around. Opens with lavender and birch tree aromas, African violet, warm, precious, woody nuances, and sensual musk. That might be an option. Okay, let's go back and see what else there could be. It's definitely not Miyake. For sure not Jimmy Choo or Juicy. No Vera Wang. YSL, there's no way. I do not see that. Oh, the Ode Mineral by Tom Ford is such a good one too. Again, I don't see him actually doing that though. How about Polo Sport? That's kind of a fun option, right? Like, because Weber has money, but also he's not going to spend it on cologne, not like that. And also he's going to mostly smell like his shaving cream and all of his stuff more than anything else. No to the Santals. The one for men. Oh, Tobacco Vanilla by Tom Ford is so good too. Holy crap, that's such a good scent. Definitely not very sexy. I really doubt that Richard Weber would ever put something called very sexy on his skin and like take himself seriously. So, Night Suede. Alright, so we are actually looking between Hugo Boss or Polo Sport. Given the age of Dr. Weber and his sophistication level, Polo Sport is definitely something that a younger, like, kid would wear, you know? So I think we should go ahead and go with the Hugo Boss Night for Weber. Let's check out the soaping notes on that and see what they look like. Okay, so it says no vanillin content, so technically speaking, we could do anything with that. So we'll go ahead and add that to cart for Dr. Weber. So he's going to be Hugo Boss Night for men. So next up is Lexi, and we will be making a soap for her and not a bath bomb. And I swear that Lexi should smell like me, you know, 10 years ago. And that was Victoria's Secret's Pink. So that's what we're doing for Lexi. That's a very easy whatever, because you have all of the florals in it with the peonies and the freesias, but then you also have like hints of mandarin and like the juice and the citrus accords. And I love that scent. And I don't care if it makes me basic as shit. I loved that scent. That was my jam. And Lexi is to my jam. So I think for Lexi, we are going to go with Victoria's Secret Pink. No vanillin content on that. It's added to the cart. Lexi was easy. It should be fun. Now next up on this list is McSteamy. And that guy's really sexy. Like, he's really sexy. And so it has to be a really, really sexy, sultry, Tom Ford-esque. Because he is also the type of guy who definitely spends a lot of money on his colognes. Because it just helps out with his animal magnetism, you know? God, that guy's hot. So I think right away we're going to go straight to the Tom Ford area. Because this is definitely... And actually, we're just going to do a search so we know that we get all of Tom Ford. We're just going to go ahead and search by Tom Ford to make sure that we get them all in one thing. Okay. So they have 9 fragrance oils that are Tom Ford-esque. Okay, so really it would be between Grey Vetiver, Arabian Wood, or Tobacco Vanilla. That's a hard one. This is a really hard one. I think we have to go Grey Vetiver for Mark because it's spicy. And he's spicy. So definitely has to be a Tom Ford. Let's go with Grey Vetiver. That is what I am calling. That is it for McSteamy. Has to be Grey Vetiver. Has to be a Tom Ford. Has to be sexy as shit because that's absolutely what he is. So, and weirdly, I think the pink and the Grey Vetiver will pair really nicely together. And Lexi and Mark, and they were the easiest ones to do so far. So I love that. Okay, so next on my list is Christina. And Christina will actually have no scent. She's not the type. She probably smells just like soap. Whatever soap exists. And usually probably scrub room soap. Which is just going to be an unscented, just even medicinal scent, if that. And so I do not think that she spends any amount of time giving a crap about layering perfume on her body. She is what she is, and what she is amazing and capable in all the things. So she's unscented. We are doing an unscented bar for Christina Yang, because I feel like that's what she would be. Next up is George O'Malley. And that guy's always super clean and shiny too, you know? He obviously puts hair product in his hair, so he cares about those sorts of things. So he might smell more like a product than a necessarily cologne. But given just his presentation, just like Weber, actually a little bit different than Weber because he's a little bit younger and also he's trying to get the ladies and do the things. I think he would have some sort of cologne on. It would not be an expensive cologne. Remember, he was an intern when we knew him. So it wouldn't be expensive, but it also wouldn't be necessarily like frat boy-esque, like an Axe body spray. I already know who I'm doing Axe body spray for. I hate this. So the options for Weber were between the Hugo Boss and the Polo Sport, and I decided that Polo Sport's a little bit too young for him. But since they still sort of give the same kind of vibe, totally give a crap about their appearance, they make sure that, you know, they're very clean and well kept all the time. George would not have a lot of money to spend on colognes, but I think even if he did, he probably wouldn't, but he definitely probably wears something. I think he's going to be Polo Sport. I'm sorry, George. And actually, it's been so long since I've even smelled Polo Sport that this will be a little bit fun to, you know, sniff again, because it's been a hot minute since I have even so much as thought about Polo Sport. Let's check out the soaping notes for that guy. Let's see, Polo Sport. Here we go. Wow, it's damn expensive for 8 ounces. That's really shocking. Oh, but he's a bath bomb, so it's okay. George is going to be a bath bomb, so that will be just fine. So George is a bath bomb. There are no soaping notes on this, but the data pages say that it can be used for the skin, so that's good. Love that. He will be Polo Sport. Yes. Moving on to Owen, who is such a sexy, broody, makes bad decisions but then redeems himself. He gets shit done. He is cool under pressure, but also he's an incredibly broken human. But this is the thing about Grey's Anatomy. They're all that. They are all that in their own ways. He would definitely not be a frat boy scent. I feel like he would also be somebody that probably maybe wouldn't put a scent on. What about Aventus Creed? It says it opens with a strong pineapple blast, which weirdly I kind of love for Owen. Like the citrus, the pineapple makes me think of like, you know, citrus and oranges, and he's got the red hair. And when we first meet him, he's sort of like a blast in from the cold, because remember the icicle in Yang's stomach and all of the... I want to mess with Creed for Owen. And I'm thinking there's another reason why I'm connecting Creed to Owen, and it will probably come to me when I start soaping and really thinking about everything that he is. But I like this, and also it's a secondary thing because I'm creating a fan soap for another YouTube channel that I really love that I need pineapple for, so this might end up being a twofer. Might like it so much to use for both. So we're going Creed for Owen, and the reason behind that is going to make more sense than just he comes in like a blast of weird. Next on my list is Alex Karev. We've already talked about it enough, so we're just going to go right down. I have no idea what Dark Temptations by Axe smells like, but Alex Karev is definitely an Axe body spray kind of guy. So that is what we are going to go with, because no matter how good he got in his craft, no matter how skilled of a physician or a surgeon he became, no matter how much money he started to make, he still gives off those frat boy vibes like nobody's business. And also he grew up, you know, kind of poor or whatever, and cologne is something that he probably wasn't going to be able to get anyway. So a spicy combination of amber and red peppercorn blended with subtle hints of rich chocolate cocoa. Does have a vanillin content, and Karev is a soap, but I think it's going to be okay. Karev is going to be Dark Temptations by Axe. He is an Axe body spray. And I freaking love that for him. And I also love that for all of us. That is going to be fun, for sure. Okay, so next up on my list is Avery. And Jackson Avery also has to go with the Tom Ford. Because in case you haven't figured it out yet, Tom Ford is currently my favorite brand of colognes across the board. And Jackson Avery is sexy. He's just sitting there all the time looking like a snack. And that's what all Tom Ford colognes make me think of. In particular, the tobacco vanilla one. So I think that's what we are going to do. Yep. The tobacco vanilla Tom Ford type for Jackson Avery. Sexy, sexy self. Guy's so hot. The vanillin content on this is 1.6% though, and so that is going to be, oh no, he's a bath bomb. We'll be good. We're going to be good. This is all working out so well. But definitely Jackson Avery is going to be the tobacco vanilla by Tom Ford, because that is one of the sexiest scents to ever exist in the history of scents. And he too is one of the sexiest men to ever exist in the history of men. Which brings us to April. April Kepner annoys the shit out of me. Okay? Just across the board. Her storyline was weird. I don't know why they brought her back. She bothers me. Oh, Amazing Grace women. That's what it is. That's what we are going with for April, assuming there's no vanillin, because I am making a soap out of that. No vanillin content in this one. And we are doing Amazing Grace because it is really fresh and clean and also just basic as shit. And also the name is Amazing Grace. And like 75% of April's personality is her religion. Like no matter what else she's ever gone through, she always goes right back to that. And so it was like a huge part of who she was as a character. Religion, and Amazing Grace is a religious song. Beautiful religious song. Do you remember when Obama sang it? It was like the most moving, whatever. Okay. April Kepner is Amazing Grace, the philosophy type. Still hate that they put April and Avery together. We'll get into that when we actually start building the soaps, I'm sure. Whew, me and Grey's Anatomy. This is going to be fun. Next up on my list is Arizona Robbins. And Arizona Robbins is a very interesting character in that she grew on me. Like, I disliked her initially and her stupid wheelie sneaks. And then after the plane crash, she had grown on me by that point, because it's like, oh, well, you're super talented at things and you're really giving Karev a shot, and that's cool. But then the plane crash, obviously losing limbs is terrible, and she did a great job. The actress herself was awesome with that, but she got annoying with all of that too. It's like she should have been in therapy instead of just taking her entire life out on everyone that was trying to help her. But I get it. That's a journey. I understand. And ultimately, when she finally left, I ended up missing her. So I don't exactly know what to do for her. Jo Malone might be okay for Arizona. That's kind of a mid-range quality perfume. Now, I actually really love this perfume. This French Lime by Jo Malone is actually a really good scent. And no vanillin content. Arizona is a bath bomb anyway. The scent of sweet lime blossoms with a twist of bergamot and tarragon. Yeah, it's clean, it's fresh, has a little bit of heat with the tarragon. I think that's Arizona. She's kind of like April in my mind in that she's kind of basic and she's not going to go with anything super fancy for her cologne. So that's what we're doing for Arizona. She's going to be a Jo Malone. That makes sense to me. Now next up would be Calliope. And Mr. Soap and Clay and I actually have fights about this all the time. He hates, loathes, and despises Callie. Has never liked Callie. And I've always really, really dug her. She's weird. She's, the person that wears yesterday's eyeliner the next day to work. She's the one who is sleeping in the basement of the hospital. She's weird, but she's loving, and she's just a good... she can sing like nobody's business. I love Callie. But because she's a little bit... I think of her and she's got some grit to her. She's got some grit to her personality. And so for the first thing that I think of is Ed Hardy. Because Ed Hardy's a little edgy, a little gritty, So let's see if it's the original Ed Hardy or Love and Luck. Let's see. What does Love and Luck smell like? Because I know what the original Ed Hardy smells like. I actually really like the name Love and Luck for Callie as well. You know? Blood orange, vodka and bergamot, nectarine, pink pepper, plum, black currant, jasmine, musk, cedar, sandalwood, and patchouli. Well, there it is. It has now been decided. She is definitely going to be Love and Luck, assuming that it doesn't have any vanillin content. No vanillin content. So Callie is going to be Ed Hardy's Love and Luck. A little bit dirty, a little bit spicy. Got a little bit of vodka in that. I think that all works out really well for Callie. Next on my list is Izzy. And I hate that chick. I dislike everything about the Izzy character. I don't know why she existed. She was annoying. I didn't like her. I don't know what to make her smell like because I don't like her. So we're going to look through this list and see, I don't know, the things that I don't like, I guess. Oh, no. She's going to be a Chanel girl. She's going to be a Chanel girl because, like, everybody wants to be a Chanel girl. So, not a fancy Chanel, though. We're not going to go number 5. Feels like a little bit too old for her. Coco Mademoiselle. Coco Mademoiselle Chanel. That is what we are doing for Izzy. She's definitely that type that's like, hey, I look forward to being able to wear Chanel. I mean, no hate. I get it. Like, I do get it. I do understand it. Like, the first Chanel bag that I was able to buy, I was over the moon excited about it. And that was just one of the coolest days of my life. I have not even thought about that bag until this exact moment for like a decade. But, you know, it was a big moment. I guess I was, you know, vibing with Izzy a little bit for all of that. Whatever. She's Coco Mademoiselle. All right, now, next to last on this list is Addison. Addison Montgomery Shepherd. And I love her. I love her so much. Her spin-off show was amazing and weird, but amazing. And the first time you meet Addison, she's walking in looking like a dime. She's got her big, beautiful red hair and her red lip and just her skin. So beautiful. And she just drops this bomb on, you know, Meredith. Oh, yeah, I'm your boyfriend's wife. And, like, at that moment, this entire series just went, wait, what is it that we're watching here? Soap opera is what we're watching. It's always been so. So Addison has to be sexy, like really sexy, because Addison is really sexy. And so I really want to go back to Tom Ford for Addison, but let's see what else is out there. It definitely wouldn't be a Chanel number 5. Does she wear it? Probably, but it has to be sexier. It has to be deeper. Flower Bomb is my favorite perfume right now for me. The Viktor and Rolf. Love that so much. But I think it's a little bit too light and floral for Addison. She definitely has her own set of like dark and twisty vibes. It's not going to be Jimmy Choo. It's definitely not going to be Love Spell or Juicy Couture. Malibu's an interesting one though, Juicy Couture, because they went to Malibu for private practice, right? This Naked in the Woods by Earthly Body Type, I've never even heard of. The scent of sun-warmed figs, Italian bergamot, and white tea leaves is entwined with notes of jasmine, sweet heliotrope, and sandalwood, enveloping the wearer in the warmth of the woods. Now, she hated the woods, you know? Like when they were living out in the Airstream. But everything else sort of fits her. And also, I really do associate her with the Taylor Swift song, Out of the Woods. Okay, so that's an option. Let's see what else is on this list. I like the idea Naked in the Woods, though. So we'll put a pin in that guy. YSL, yeah, I can totally see Addison being a YSL gal, for sure. Santal 26. From Fragrance House Le Labo, Santal 26 has 26 specific notes in its composition. Scents like amber, cocoa, vanilla, cedar, spices, musk, and sandalwood all come together to fill your house. So this is a candle, but it even says New York on it. And she did the New York thing. Let's see what the vanillin is on her, because this is actually a soap. There's a question mark for the vanillin. Holy shit. 2.5%. So we can't use that. It's a really good idea, but we can't use that at 2.5%. And I don't like that there's a question mark for the vanillin. That's freaking me out. So, Santal Blush is delightful. I actually adore that perfume. And I feel like she would wear that perfume. This is a tough one. Let's check Naked's soaping notes or data pages again. See what we're working with for that. So 5%. We can totally use that. I want to go ahead and do Naked in the Woods. Because also it does remind me of a scene where she was naked in the woods, and that was a weird thing in the Airstream as well. And just the idea of being naked in the woods, this is kind of her life when she was trying to get back with Derek. There are a lot of really good options on this for what Addison could be. But Addison is one of my most favorite characters in the history of ever. And I like the description of Naked in the Woods. I like that she reminds me of the song Out of the Woods. And I've never played with this. So we are going Naked in the Woods for Addison Montgomery Shepherd. Which leaves us with the last. And that is Bailey. Dr. Bailey. And I still don't super know. So let's see what we have going on with everything else. And what I really did want to get into the list that maybe I wasn't able to. I already have some Joe Malones going on here. I have enough Tom Fords. Bailey is also a little bit problematic in and of herself, though, in that while she always looks very clean and put together, she probably mostly also smells like her hair products and not like a perfume. She seems a little bit too all about the job. You know, she's very functional. She's not extra. And perfume seems like it would be an extra. She reminds me a lot of Christina Yang. So that does actually make it a little bit tough for her as well. But I don't want to do 2 unscented bars. And I really am leaning to a Joe Malone scent right now that I believe fits Bailey's personality, even though she probably is still not the type to... So I'm going between like a white tea Joe Malone and the Santal Blush from Tom Ford. Really just because I love Santal Blush and feel like Bailey might wear that if she ever decided to put on perfume. But I don't know that she would ever pay for Santal Blush. So let's look at the IFRA for the White Jasmine and Mint Joe Malone. 5.9. So we could totally use that. I know I already have a lot of Joe Malones on the list, but she's not a Juicy Couture gal. She's not... There's no vanillin content. Bailey is going to be White Jasmine and Mint. Because it's clean, it's light, it probably mostly smells just like shampoo. And that's probably mostly what Bailey smells like, is just clean. And so we're going to do that. Yeah. Totally. So there it is. We have 15 cents selected for 16 products. Because again, remember, Christina Yang is not scented. And we will be using these to make the Grey's Anatomy line, which as it consists of right now in my head, it's 8 soaps, 8 bath bombs. So that will be what we will be showing you in January. Well, you know, it's not January yet, and I need to do the thing. So many people have asked me how to build a theme, and this is how it all starts. You have the character, and again, you have to go back to what I've said over and over and over again. You have to actually really love the theme that you're doing in order to execute on it well. Like, all of the things that I just did with how these characters should smell and everything, that's because I have the first 12 seasons of Grey's Anatomy memorized. Like, I know them by heart. And I'm really into this world and this lore. And so I can pull from that. But if you were trying to, you know, get me to scent like Sailor Moon or something, I have no idea. I don't even know if it's called Sailor Moon. Is it Sailor or Sailor? Because the Soprentice said Sailor the other day, and I've always thought it was Sailor. Anyway, those are my 15 cents that will be used to create a new theme. And this is how it all starts. You think about the ones that you want to do and sort of have an idea in mind about what the, process is going to be as far as what the bars or the bombs are going to look like. And you start matching scents to it, and everything builds on itself all the way down to the name. So this is part one of many parts in building a theme. But yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you guys had fun with all of this. Let me know about my scent selections and what you think everybody should smell like. Granted, just what they should smell like based on this list. Because I only had 80 scents from Wellington to go off of. If I had other options, then maybe we could have expanded a little bit more. But I'm honestly glad that I didn't have more options. I think 80 was plenty for 16 characters, 15. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to soaping with all of these, and you guys get to be around for the first ever pours with all of these scents, with the exception of one. I think I've done Coco Mademoiselle. I think I did that for a Taylor Swift bar, but I don't think I've done anything with the rest of them. So that'll be fun. And I'm going to say for the third time, I'm out of here for today. A special thanks to all of my sudsers for being around and doing all the soapy things and all the jazz. If you guys haven't yet, go check out Swoop. Pick up her Petty University merch after learning why Petty University is a thing anyway. It's a delightful thing. You're going to like it. But yeah, go check her out. And I will see you guys all again tomorrow here for another round of soapy fun. Bye.